Knights Templar, Tales of Sir Geoffrey de Clare, Volume 1, Issue 11. This is a fictional story brought to you by the Knights Templar Order of Australia. Some characters and places are real, but are in no way to be taken as fact. Like, comment and subscribe for more Knights Templar, Tales of Sir Geoffrey de Clare. Author Daniel Burl. Geoffrey de Clare awoke feeling unusually refreshed. The dawn light filtered softly through the small window of his quarters. Rising from his cot, he dressed quickly in his simple Templar robes and headed straight to the temple for morning prayers. The cool morning air was invigorating as he walked, his mind clearing in preparation for the day ahead. The chapel was already filling with the solemn figures of his fellow knights. The air was thick with the scent of incense, and the soft murmur of Latin prayers resonated within the stone walls. Geoffrey knelt in his usual spot beside Bernard, and together they immersed themselves in the familiar rhythms of their faith. The prayers centered him, preparing him for whatever the day might bring. After prayers, Geoffrey and Bernard made their way to the refectory for breakfast. In keeping with the Templar tradition, they shared a bowl of porridge. It was a simple meal, but it nourished their bodies and reinforced their commitment to humility and brotherhood. Geoffrey glanced at Bernard, who was already deep in thought. "Any idea what Master Egbert wants to discuss with us?" Geoffrey asked quietly. Bernard shook his head, a slight frown creasing his brow. "No, but it must be important if he's summoning us directly after breakfast." Geoffrey nodded, a sense of anticipation growing within him. They finished their meal quickly, aware that punctuality was a virtue within their order. As they arrived at Master Egbert's chambers, they found the door slightly ajar. Inside, Master Egbert stood beside a table with a squire named Peter and a page named John standing to attention. Master Egbert's presence was commanding, his eyes reflecting years of wisdom and leadership. "Enter, Geoffrey, Bernard," Master Egbert called, his voice firm but welcoming. Geoffrey and Bernard stepped inside and bowed respectfully. Master Egbert motioned for them to stand at ease. "I have an important task for you both," he began. "From now on, Peter and John will be your subordinates. You will share their guidance and training." Geoffrey exchanged a glance with Bernard, both of them understanding the responsibility being placed upon them. "We will guide them well, Master Egbert," Geoffrey replied. Master Egbert nodded approvingly. "Good. Now there is another matter of urgency. You are to pack your belongings immediately. We leave for the White Tower in London at once." "London, sir?" Geoffrey asked, surprise evident in his voice. "Yes, Geoffrey, London," Master Egbert confirmed. "We have an audience with the king. We must make haste." Geoffrey and Bernard bowed once more, their minds already racing with the implications of such a journey. They hurried to their quarters to pack, each man lost in his own thoughts. The White Tower in London was not just any destination, it was the heart of the kingdom, a place where decisions that shaped the realm were made. As Geoffrey packed his belongings, Bernard entered, his own satchel slung over his shoulder. "Can you believe it, Geoffrey? The king himself." "It is an honor and a heavy responsibility," Geoffrey replied, carefully folding his spare robes. Peter and John arrived shortly after, their youthful faces a mix of excitement and nervousness. "Sir Geoffrey, Sir Bernard, we are ready to assist," Peter said earnestly. "Good," Bernard said, clapping a reassuring hand on John's shoulder. "There is much to do and we must move quickly." They gathered their gear and made their way to the stables. Each man was given a horse, a pack horse for their supplies, and mounts for Peter and John. The courtyard buzzed with activity as other knights prepared for the journey. It was clear that this was no ordinary mission. Master Egbert was taking considerable precautions for their safety. By midday they had packed their supplies and loaded their horses. They assembled in the courtyard, the sense of urgency palpable. Master Egbert addressed them briefly, his words concise and commanding. "We ride to London with purpose. Stay vigilant, and may our journey be swift and safe." With that, they mounted their horses and began their journey. The sun was high in the sky, casting a warm glow over the landscape as they left the familiar walls of Cressing Temple behind. The rhythm of hooves on the road was steady, a reassuring sound that kept them focused on the task ahead. Geoffrey rode beside Bernard, Peter and John close behind. "This is a significant mission," Bernard said, breaking the silence. "We must be prepared for anything." Indeed, Geoffrey replied, and we must also ensure Peter and John learn from this experience. It is not every day one travels to London to meet the king. As the hours passed, the scenery changed from open fields to dense forests. The ride was uneventful, but the steady rain dampened their spirits. They pressed on, knowing that delays were not an option. The light showers persisted, soaking their cloaks and making the path muddy and slippery. "How are you holding up, Peter?" Geoffrey asked, glancing back at the young page. "I'm managing well, sir," Peter replied with a determined look. "This journey is quite an experience." "And you, John?" Bernard inquired, looking at the squire riding beside him. "All is well, Sir Bernard," John said confidently. "Thank you for the opportunity to learn." By late afternoon they reached a dense forest, where they decided to make camp for the night. The rain had eased, but the ground was still wet. They worked quickly to set up their tents and secure the horses. Geoffrey and Bernard ensured that Peter and John were involved in every task, teaching them the importance of efficiency and teamwork. "Peter, make sure the horses are well fed and watered," Geoffrey instructed. John helped Bernard set up the tents. Peter nodded, leading the horses to a nearby stream. John, meanwhile, followed Bernard's lead, quickly setting up the tents and organizing their gear. Dinner was a simple affair, consisting of dried meat and hard bread. The knights ate in silence, their thoughts on the journey ahead. After the meal, they gathered for evening prayers, the quiet forest providing a peaceful backdrop to their solemn chants. The sense of camaraderie and shared purpose was strong, binding them together as they prepared for the night. After evening prayers, they retired to their tents, but Geoffrey and Bernard took a moment to check in with Peter and John. "Tomorrow will be a long day," Geoffrey said, his tone gentle but firm. "You both have shown great promise today. Continue to observe and learn." Peter nodded eagerly. "Thank you, Sir Geoffrey. We will do our best." "Good," Bernard added. "Remember, we are all here to support each other. Stay focused and vigilant." With that, they bid each other good night and settled in for a few hours of rest. The forest was quiet, the only sounds the occasional rustle of leaves and the distant call of an owl. Geoffrey lay on his bedroll, his mind racing with thoughts of the days to come. The White Tower, the king, these were not everyday matters. He felt a mix of excitement and apprehension, knowing that this journey could shape their future in ways they could not yet foresee. As Geoffrey drifted off to sleep, he offered a final prayer for guidance and protection, confident that with the dawn they would rise again to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The path of a Templar was never easy, but it was a path they walked with honor, courage, and unwavering faith. This is a fictional story brought to you by the Knights Templar Order of Australia. Some characters and places are real, but are in no way to be taken as fact. Like, comment, and subscribe for more Knights Templar, Tales of Sir Geoffrey de Clare.